Domain 1, which I'm about to start now. In this particular module, I will take you through Introduction to Information and Cybersecurity. This is an introduction which is required. Your actual course starts with CIA, security controls and its category, very important from examination perspective, defense in depth and zero trust architecture. In your course, you have defense in depth, zero trust. I have added extra because these days this concept is really evolving around and it will soon replace, not replace, I would say, it will exist along with defense in depth. Then governance, risk and compliances, simple theoretical slide, and then you have due care and due diligence, which is important. Okay, so what is information security? Information security is about protecting information so that the people who should not have access to it cannot distribute, see, change, or delete the information. If this right now, you people are authorized and you people have enrolled in the class, that's the reason you're able to access this. Otherwise, the people who have not enrolled it, they cannot see, access, or modify this class. So it simply says that protecting the information so that the people who should not have access to it cannot distribute, see, change, or delete it. Information security has to do with confidentiality, integrity, and availability of a data in any form, electronic, print, or other form. So just like if you talk about cyber and all, so cyber is mainly related to protection of a data in a digital form. Information security applies to your physical security, the guards which is sitting, the shredders that you have, the data in the paper form, the files that you have in the organization, intellectual property like patent, trade secret. So it applies to a data in any form. It is not necessary that the data has to be in a digital form. So it has to do with, it is concerned with confidentiality, integrity, and availability of a data in any form like electronic, print, intellectual property, etc. The factors that impact information security, nature of business and general business environment. This is one of the main factors which we normally ignore because it is business environment, business objectives and organization which decides upon the information security. As a trainer, I have been to many organizations for taking training. Along with that, I have worked in 4 organizations. So just like around 3 years ago, I went to MetLife. MetLife is a financial organization. I went there for a training of 1 day only. For 1 day complete, I was not having access to my mobile because I was having my smart mobile, and which was having a camera. I was not allowed to take my mobile phone with me, and I was like handicapped for the whole day. Plus, around 2 years ago, I went to Wells Fargo. That was also a finance organization. It was security, physical security, everything was pretty much very tough and high. Out of high standard. I've been to a training organization like ABC. There was one training organization which I visited in Delhi. One day, first day, they escorted me. Next day, they were least bothered about when I am coming, when I'm going, in which part of the area I'm going. Then I worked in HCL. I worked in my present company. So I went to Accenture for for 1 day interview. The level of security between HCL and Accenture is quite different. What makes these security level different? It is the business objectives. Training organization, they don't have much critical things over there. By the same time, MetLife and Wells Fargo, they are a financial organization. Their level of security was pretty at high level as compared to HCL and I would say Accenture, which are managed security provider. So business objectives in general and a business organization, the security, it really makes a big difference in an environment. Outsourcing, if you are outsourcing it to any service provider, that also has a great impact. The kind of technology that you're using, platforms and tools that you're using, or even new and emerging tools that you are using in the organization, this really makes a big impact on information security. What is cybersecurity? The next one. Cybersecurity is basically practice of defending computer, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attack. Basically, this is more concerned with protection of a data in a digital form, in an electronic form. In an electronic form, data can exist in 3 states: data at rest, data in transit, and data in use. Data at rest means data is stored in your hard drive, USB drive, or storage area network. Data in transit, like I have given you a Google Drive access. When the data is in Google Drive, it is data at rest. When you are about to transfer that data from that Google Drive, that would be data in transit. Like IPsec, SSL, TLS, you're trying to access some website, that is what data in transit. Then data in use, data is stored in temporary RAM, processors, or cache, waiting for it to be processed by a processor. There will be a separate topic on that. I just know that the data exists in three forms: data in transit, data in use, and data at rest. So cybersecurity refers to the protection of a data in all three forms. So it can be defined as the protection of information assets by addressing threats, information processed, stored, and transported by inter-network systems. So remember, information security refers to the protection of a data, any form, digital, electronic, physical, anything, intellectual property, and cybersecurity refers to the protection of a data in digital form itself. In a digital form, data can exist in three states: data at rest, data in transit, data in use. For data at rest, you can have full disk encryption, BitLocker. For data in transit, you can protect it by IPsec, SSL, TLS. For data in use, these days, although there are not much security measures available for data in use, but yes, industry is working on one kind of encryption which we call as homomorphic encryption. Homomorphic encryption can protect the data in use also. How it works, I will tell you that, because even if you have encrypted the data, in order to process it, you have to decrypt it, and where that vulnerability is there. So homomorphic encryption allows you to process the data in encrypted form only, but it is still in nascent stages, not used completely. Why cybersecurity is important these days? Due to the technological advancement, rate of cybercrime is increasing a lot. Due to most of the trade and business online these days. I remember around 10 years ago, if we hardly use online banking, not a lot many people used to use that, but these days we hardly go to banks for our day-to-day job. I remember the last time when during the demonetization, that was after 8 years, I visited my bank. These days crime syndicates are available. If you go to darknet, there are people who can who can give you a Facebook password of any one of you, of anyone, by for just mere $50. And in a darknet, your PII data like credit card information or your Aadhaar card number is available for as little as $1. There are countries which are infamous for these kind of things, like Turkey, I would say Russia, China. There are people who can just take few dollars and get the things done for you. Then these days, yes, we have cyber armies available. Okay, cyber army of the companies, of the countries, which just like India has its own cyber army, Pakistan, China, they have their own cyber army, which can do the job for that. Then you have financial frauds, which are happening and increasing a lot. So that really increases the importance of cyber security. Difference between information and cyber security. Information security deals with information regardless of its format. It encompasses paper document, digital intellectual property in people's mind, or verbal or visual communication. So I told you, it refers to a protection of a data in any form, irrespective of its form. It could be your intellectual property, it could be your physical data, it could be electronic data. Cybersecurity is concerned with protection of a digital data, digital asset, everything from network to hardware or information that is processed, stored, or transmitted by inter-network systems. Cybersecurity is a component of information security. So from now on, but I have seen it quite a long time, because earlier, now I've changed my role in the organization, but earlier I used to head a SOC. There was around 120 people under me. And whenever I interact with my teams, what about you? What you want to do? What about your career progression? This is the question answer I always get. Hey, I wanted to move into cybersecurity. I always say, mate, you're already into cybersecurity, because firewalls, network security, that is all a part of the cybersecurity. You have to be specific that in which field of cyber you want to. So remember, there are different fields like compliance and regulations, testing, and software application testing, API testing. So you have to be very, very specific that in which field of cybersecurity you want to move into. Okay, then you can see it over here. The cybersecurity is a part of total information security. Approaches to cybersecurity. There are three approaches to cybersecurity: ad hoc, compliance-based, and risk-based. Ad hoc, I've already given this example. Ad hoc based simply implement security with no particular rationale or criteria. Okay, so sometimes lot my time, you go to market, you like something, even you don't need that thing, but you purchase it because you like it. I give you one example here in terms of IT. You are a global network leader, and the CISO of a company has left. So you know that CISO takes time to get hired. So for the time being, company asks you to take a extra responsibility of a CISO. You don't have much information. No offense to the network people again, just this is just an example. And no offense to any country, religion. I will just quote examples which are there, which are available in a real world. So please, no offense to any country, no religion. The example that I will give, it is just for a purpose of telling you the concept. No offense to any country or a region or any profession. Okay, disclaimer from my side. Just kidding. Okay, so you're a global network guy. You have been asked to take an extra responsibility till company finds CISO. So what happened there means as one of your friends who is in a sales, he comes to know that you are having an extra, you are doing as an you have an extra hat of a CISO also. He visited you. He made a very good sales pitch about a web application firewall which they are selling. You get mesmerized, get attracted, you get mesmerized and got carried away by the features of that web application firewall, and you give an order. But in reality, your system, your organization doesn't have any apps hosted in the data center. You have an app hosted on a cloud. So this is, I would say, a perfect example of an ad hoc approach. You implement security control without particular rational or particular criteria. Got it, sir? Then you have a compliance-based security. This approach relies on regulations or standards to determine security implementation. The company's security is based on meeting compliance criteria like PCI DSS, ISO 27001. So you get so much engrossed achieving this compliance status that you forget about the total, then you forget about the objective of security, that is to protect the data. What you do, okay, I'm ISO 27000 certified in order to satisfy my auditors and a compliance company compliant to customer, I need to maintain my certification. So you got so much engrossed in maintaining the compliance status that you forget the total ultimate objective of those compliance certifications. I know a lot of organizations which are PCI DSS certified, but still the hack happens. Why? Because they get focused only on maintaining the compliance status, that they don't bother about a security. That sometimes led to a breach. Then you have a risk base. In your organization, if you talk about, I would say the best approach is to have a mix of compliance-based and a risk-based approach. Risk-based means you perform the risk assessment. And on the basis of risk which your organization have, you implement the control. So if you talk about me, the best approach is compliance as well as risk-based, because compliance is a necessary evil. Yes, in order to satisfy the business and the requirement and regulatory bodies, you cannot ignore compliance. So in an organization, you should have a combination of compliance and risk-based approach. Now, from here, the actual post starts. So from now onwards, don't give this statement everyone that I wanted to move into cybersecurity. You're already a part of cybersecurity. It's just like you have to specify that which field of cybersecurity you want to move in. And in a security, if you really want to make a good career, I would say you should be having knowledge from different fields. If you talk about me, I would say CISSP is more of a defensive management security. You should have a good knowledge of offensive security. Don't go into that, but yes, you should have a knowledge of offensive security also. So just like for that knowledge, I've recently done CEH, so that it gives me a knowledge about how hackers works, what tools they use. Then that is offensive security. Then third one, I would say you should have some good knowledge of scripting language. Again, it's not a necessary, but here these days, scripting, Python, that is also increasing a lot. Then fourth thing, you should know the basics of at least one operating system. Linux is more preferable, and then some cloud product. That will make you a perfect combination in security. But again, no need to rush. Security, or I would say Rome is not built in a day. I started building my Rome around 2005, I would say, and still building my Rome. So it is not everything has to be done in a one go, but yes, in security, the market is pretty good. But it is for those people who have an overall knowledge. Don't get stereotyped to one field. Try to read as much as you can, because in a security, the person who has a habit of reading the things, who has a habit of upgrading it, it can do well in security. So think about it, how you should progress it. So now, role and importance of CIA in information security. What are those? CIA and availability served as an industry standard for computer security since the time of first mainframes. CIA is an acronym of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so all your security, all of your information security and cyber security that you have that you designed around in your organization should be designed on the basis of these three characteristics. Confidentiality simply means that no unauthorized person or process should be able to temper your data or change, or should not be able to unauthorized access your data or see your data. For example, you are sending $1 lakh, $1 lakh to your friend's account. So it should be an encrypted format so that no one can see what actually you are sending. So that is confidentiality. Then integrity. No one should be able to tamper or change the things. Suppose the same example, you are sending $1 lakh to your friend account. No one is able to see because it has been in encrypted form. But you don't have controls against integrity. So someone has managed to add extra zero to it. So instead of sending him ₹1 lakh, we will end up sending him ₹10 lakh. So there's a loss of ₹9 lakh to you in absence of integrity tools. Tampering simply means that no one should be able to unauthorized change or tamper your data. Got it? Then you have an availability. Availability is assurance that the computer system is accessible by authorized users whenever needed. Okay, so it depends upon, look, all these three factors, it depends upon organization to organizations. Just like if there is a military organization, for them, confidentiality is important. If there is a financial organization, for them, integrity is important. If you talk about me, I'm a trainer. As a trainer, I give a damn to confidentiality and integrity because if someone listened to my conversation, I am least bothered about it. I would be more interested in availability. That's the reason all of my, you know, controls that or setup that I have, it's revolving around availability. I have two laptops, I have a data available in cloud. I have taken a big inverter, although in Delhi the power loss is not much, but I anticipate that someday if there's a power loss, which lasted for 5, 6, or 8 hours, it should not impact my class. So all these things I have taken, all these measures I have taken to ensure the availability. So you should know what is your business objectives of an organization, what is more important, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Then on the basis of that, you can design your security of an organization. Clear, sir? These three things are very important. Whole of your security revolves around these three things.